The March 2025 lunar eclipse in Leo is no ordinary full moon. This is a portal to leadership and transformation. It's the exact energy that has invited kings and queens throughout history, and now it's your time. If you're feeling a shift, the eclipse is calling you to reclaim your voice, power, and direction. And I'll break all this energy down for you and how it impacts you and how to navigate it with clarity and with purpose. You're probably feeling a little restless, maybe a little anxiety, maybe like things are moving fast and slow at the same time. It's okay. This is the cosmic weather, and I'm here to decode it for you. This eclipse is very powerful because it's a total lunar eclipse. That means that we've got the mystic, the south node of the moon, with the full moon, the queen, in actually the sign of the king, in Leo, just on the very edge. This is a glimpse into what the next year and a half is going to present to us with the eclipses that are going to be in Leo. We're just moving from Virgo to Leo with the south node of the moon. That will happen at the end of May, but this is an out of sign eclipse, so it's giving us a taste of what is to come. It's in Uttara Phalguni Nakshatra in Vedic Astrology, and that is the star of patronage, and it blends the sovereignty of Leo with Virgo's practical service. This nakshatra bridges both signs. Nakshatras are the stars. They're like constellations within the constellation. They're stars in the signs, and there's 3 usually, and there's usually one that bridges one sign to another, and this is that bridge. Virgo, where we organize that details of life, our practical service, the practicality underneath our mission, and Leo, this place of ethical leadership, aligned to prosperity, and really sustainable success. Leo's a fire sign, and it's a fixed fire sign, so it radiates its energy, and it's stable and secure in its best sense. Now, Ketu has a shadow effect here because the eclipse pattern, the nodes of the moon, create a shadow on the sun, the soul, on the moon, the consciousness. And the south node of the moon, Ketu, the mystic in the Sacred Wealth Code system, is always here to ask us to let go of outdated roles, our ego attachments, and to step really into our true sovereignty, to walk closer with our own soul path, our own divine path. That is encoded in your soul blueprint. So this is very powerful, but it's not always comfortable. There's been a stripping away, a letting go for all of us. And it's just starting to shift into Leo. This is the ruler of Uttara Phalguni is influenced by Bhagyas. And this eclipse is challenging us to redefine wealth, partnerships, leadership, and where you're holding onto your power in ways that no longer serve you. You know, a true leader is leading from the heart. I lead from the heart. That is the mantra for the leader in the Sacred Wealth Code Archetype system. It's also very much the king. And this energy of Leo, like I said, it very much radiates, but Ketu the mystic is always asking us to detach from that which is not ours, that the things that are more connected to our ego. And it's not just about release, it's about stepping into a new way to lead, a new way to attract wealth and earn, and a new way to impact the world with your gifts. You have gifts. That's what your Sacred Wealth Code is about. Your gifts unlock something in the world that no one else can unlock in the way that you can. Ketu is asking us to relinquish and to release. Ketu is all about the process of evolution. It's taking form, whether it's a thought form, a belief, a relationship, a business. a home, and it is asking us to detach, break that down, back down into energy. That's what happens when we create space and we let go, so that we can use the process of involution, which is the north node of the moon, and to create something from the inside out. But this is particularly around your leadership. What are you leading? And that's in your business, in your work in the world, or what are you being called to step into? Maybe you haven't stepped into that yet, and it is percolating. It's under the surface. It's like an itch you need to scratch. I will be doing a full moon healing circle, as I do on the full moons. And because this is a rare moment of cosmic acceleration, a time when the universe is clearing the way to your next level of leadership, prosperity, alignment, but moving through this portal with clarity it's not always easy. And that's why I want to give you some guidance here. And it's not about pushing harder. It's about relinquishment, letting go, and releasing. So I will be doing a full moon healing activation on March 13th. I am doing this powerful transformational session for only $11. It's usually $55. You'll find a link in the comments, description, or anywhere with this video. You'll find a link for that. And I invite you to join in on this powerful session where we'll work with Vedic activation codes, eclipse rituals, energetic downloads to help you to release these patterns and open your path to your higher destiny, because that's what the eclipses are always about. They're always agitating two areas of life, and maybe more if you have planets there, and that's why it's good to know your soul blueprint, agitating those areas of life to churn out what's no longer serving us, to help us to release, let go. That's the south node of the moon. And then on the 29th, we'll have an eclipse with the north node of the moon, the magician, and that's pulling us more into material wealth. And those eclipses with the magician they bring in opportunities that cause us to grow and to play more in the world, but also they can lead to complication and drama. We'll get into that with the next update. So this eclipse is going to affect conscious leaders, entrepreneurs in our leadership awakening. And like I said, it's the beginning of the next year and a half. We're going to have eclipses in this area, and this eclipse will trigger something for you over the next 6 months. So this is relevant for the next 6 months before we have the next eclipses in September. And it's asking us to really shine a light on where we need to step up, to be seen, and to take charge. And that is connected to your purpose. What you're here to lead with is also what you're here to serve with. Leo is a very generous placement in its best energy. So it is very much more about the identity of self, but it is a placement of generosity, and especially in Uttara Phalguni, where it is. We are being called to release old patterns and old identities, and it's time to let go of, the self-doubt, the fear of visibility, and outdated ways of showing up in the world. And some of those really get triggered in us by what we think that people are wanting from us. So if you've been doing business in a particular way, or you're serving your clients and customers in a way that you're just bored with, it doesn't feel right for you anymore. Maybe it's making you the money you want, maybe it's not. But, for whatever reason, you don't feel, you feel a sense of security in it. That's going to break down. So it's better just to identify it and release and let go and move on, because there's a part of you that wants to be more visible for your gifts. That's what we're here to be visible for. You have things encoded in you that you only do the way you do, whether it's the amazing leader, the amazing problem solver, the artist that you are, the great writer. All these things you do in the way that you do, but that's always evolving. And a great leader is always open to the next level of ourselves. We are living in an expanding universe, and so the more we get to know ourselves, and that's why I do this work, because I want to support you in driving this amazing vehicle of experience, you, knowing your wiring, so you can drive yourself really to the, you're like a Ferrari, but do you know how to use all the features? And that's what knowing your gifts, knowing your soul blueprint gives you. You're going to want to watch out for this place of external expectation. So you can feel like this tension here where this authentic leadership you have, like just you being you, is you want to be seen more for that. You want to allow that just for your own soul satisfaction to come through you more. You want to see that more out in the world and in the collective. Maybe you're not seeing that reflected back in the collective, but that takes us doing it, being in our authentic leadership. That, and you're also feeling these external expectations. Well, what people maybe you think want from you, or who you're supposed to be. All of that is ego-based. That is not the truth. But I understand it is scary sometimes to step into that authenticity. And you feel this tension. It's like this tension between the power and purpose. But we want to have internal power. And purpose gives us that. So we have to be aware of what's truly aligned for us and what's not. So you can feel when something's not aligned. And I'm touching my heart here because this is where we feel it. We feel that contraction or we feel that expansion. We feel settled and aligned or excited, or, we feel things are off, and we need to listen to that because that's your internal guidance system guiding you to your internal compass, to where you are aligned with your truth, with your true leadership, with your essence, with your gifts. And that leads to the wealth that you're here to create. That leads to your true essence of authentic leadership. We're all here to lead something. So you're going to want to watch out for power struggles in your business, in your work, in the workplace, in collaborations, or your personal life. Now, this eclipse is triggering this leadership aspect, and it's happening in Leo, which is the natural 5th house of the zodiac, which is our mind, our creativity, and our romance. And it's also children, progeny. But this is happening in a particular house in your soul blueprint. And when you know that, then, and maybe you have planets there too, then it's triggering other areas of life. This all affects your ability to lead. If you're having a relationship issue, if you're having a health issue, these things all affect how we can fully show up. And can we really step into our next level of evolution or where our business is calling us to? So it all matters, okay? But because of where Saturn is directly across the zodiac, just about to go from Aquarius, this very social, idealistic sign, more concerned with the social, the collective and our social purpose, it's about to move into Pisces. It'll do that just right after the next eclipse on the 29th. And it's with the sun, and it's just bringing this serious energy as Saturn can, because Saturn is the planet of truth or consequences. It is the planet that puts what we believe to be true under pressure, and either it turns out to be a finely faceted gem, or it gets crushed to dust. And we've all had that experience, like, whoa, I thought that was true, and I was just shown that is completely not true. Or, wow, I thought that was true, and now I know it like I've never known it before. We've all had those moments. I'm curious what kind of a moment you have had like that, because Saturn is bringing this, bringing about sort of like serious decisions about our career, our commitments, our business, and the direction we're taking. And that's the kind of pressure Saturn puts on, because Saturn wants us to be true to our purpose and will trip us up here in the physical world in order to remind us to turn inward, because that is where the truth is. So this eclipse will cause us to release, to strip away things, to let go. And release doesn't have to be hard. That's why I hold the healing circles. Release, just like the leaves in the fall are released from the tree, and then they turn into compost, and they turn into nourishment for what's next to grow. We can let go and we can release, and there's a way to learn how, and that's why I do the healing circles. To work with this energy, I want you to reflect on where you've been holding back your authentic voice, your next level of leadership. Like you're getting that tap on the shoulder, that call up, which means you have to live in more integrity and potentially take on more responsibility. That's Saturn. And Leo is directly across from Saturn, sign of Aquarius. Responsibility gets a bad rap because it's like, whoa, I've got to do more. But when you take responsibility for something, you're at choice. You are at choice. And anything you're at choice about, you can make a new choice about. But until you take responsibility, you can't do that. So reflect on where you've been, where you've been held back, or you feel like you're being held back in leadership, or just in your authentic expression, because it's time to step in instead of being held back. But before you're going to feel like you can step in, there's something to release and let go of. We're making space for more of you with this eclipse. Eclipses tend to be emotional during the time of it, so keep your schedule light, and not a great time to be around big crowds. It is a total lunar eclipse. So when your schedule is light, the emergent things that come up with an eclipse, you can attend to. It might be something with an employee. It might be something in a business partnership. It may be something in the home and family. It depends on where this hits you. But if you're scheduled too tight is when you don't have the presence to really attend to something, and it causes more stress then. Relationships, there may be some release around relationships. Venus is retrograde. I talk about that in the March update. It's in Pisces. We're going to have the next eclipse there. There's a lot going on with relationships now. So we want to do this with grace. There's roles that you have taken on willingly and unwillingly. And some of those roles need to be released, and that's the beliefs that are driving you to be in that role, to act that way. There may be projects that no longer align with you. I know I'm doing some trimming in my projects and my business. I have too much going on and too much that's going out and not bringing back in. This is something we're always assessing as the entrepreneur, as the conscious leader. So we've got to keep our energy balanced in that way. It's okay. If you let it go, you will make space. And in that fertile space, you'll create something new that's more aligned with who you are now. So step into a higher level of leadership by releasing and letting go what's in your way, and up-leveling your integrity and your true confidence. Because when we are living in alignment with the truth of who we are, and we know that we're doing that, or we're on the path to doing it, or working on it, that's like a sigh of relief for the soul. And there's a settledness that happens within us. Even if we're not already there, we know we are working on it. So I've got some journal prompts for you. You can feel free to pause this and do these journal prompts. And the first one is, where am I being called to step up as a leader? Where am I being called to step up as a leader? And then the next one is, what outdated fears or self-doubt must I release? What outdated fears or self-doubt must I release? And what does my soul-aligned leadership look like? Do some visioning, some just like a stream of consciousness around that. Some of the practices and rituals that'll be really useful during this time is energy clearing. And sometimes that's as much as writing it down and burning it, doing an energetic process around that. We do that in the healing circle. I have that in I have a lot of different clearing processes I work with my clients on. I even have healing sessions, and those are on my website. And meditation, of course, I'm a daily meditator, and I create lots of meditations for my communities. And setting very clear intentions. We've got to get clear first and then set the clear intention. You want to connect with your community or your support system. Be in with your people, your family, and who you feel really comfortable and supported by. And avoid making rash decisions right during the eclipse. And when I say rash decisions, because that'll be where it feels like it's urgent and you have to, but you really don't have to make the decision. And clarity comes after the storm. You'll get the clarity after the eclipse. So allow the storm to pass if you're not clear on something, and then make the choice, and avoid that pushy internal urgency that really isn't true. It's really not true. And Mercury is going to go retrograde. That's our great communicator and messenger. The very next day, I talk about that in the March update, so you can watch that. But that is going to require us to be thinking more out of the box, trusting our intuition, moving more from our gut as well. And I just want to remind you that this eclipse is a major activation for conscious leaders and entrepreneurs. And the universe is really creating space for you to rise and rise into your higher potential. But are you ready to step into it? Drop a comment for me below. Let me know what's coming up with you for these questions. What are you feeling about this shift? Like, I want to talk about it with you. Drop me a comment so I know where you're at and what's going on for you. That also helps me in some of the more of the content I'm going to create for you. And this eclipse is a powerful portal of transformation, especially, like I said, for conscious leaders who are ready to step fully into our power and our purpose. And that's exactly what we do in my Sacred Wealth Mastery program. We align with the next level of wealth and success, and that doesn't happen just by chance. It happens by alignment, by intention, and by understanding your unique gifts, clearing your blocks that have been holding you back, and moving in harmony with divine timing based on your soul blueprint, your Vedic Astrology chart, which I give personal guidance on for everyone in Sacred Wealth Mastery. So if you're ready to create aligned prosperity, expand your impact, and step into your highest leadership and gifts, I invite you to join me. You'll find a link to just send me an email and say invite. Leave me a comment and say invite, and I will send you all the information about Sacred Wealth Mastery. And I would love to support you in your conscious leadership there. If this has resonated for you, please like this, subscribe, share this. It really helps to get the video out, and I'll be sharing more insights to help you along your journey and navigate all this powerful energy. All right, thanks for being here. So much love.